to be introducing our first community moment that is not a member of our Oasis launch team. It's actually the first member of our community to come up and give a community moment, so it's kind of exciting for us. Our community moment this week will be given by Thomas Pilcher. Thomas was a recent transplant to the West, a philosopher and retired college educator with a background in business management, auditing, insurance and securities, and more. He is insatiably curious. He is a lover of mountains, philosophy, and learning. He is a zealous atheist and ardent believer in community and humanism. Thomas will speak briefly today about the intersection of philosophy and the topic of our featured speaker, fraud. Everybody, please welcome Thomas Pilcher.
Can everybody hear me okay? Okay. I'm a philosopher. It means that I love wisdom. It doesn't mean that I have any. What is philosophy? It is love of wisdom, simply put. Philos, Greek, Sophia, Greek, love of wisdom. It means loving to ask questions, loving to learn. It's divided into really three very simple questions. I've told folks in the past that I can give you a complete course in philosophy in less than 10 seconds. It consists of three simple questions. Where am I? How do I know? What do I do? That's all there is to philosophy. A lot of people would like to say it's an extraordinarily complicated, erudite layer of knowledge that underlies and binds all other knowledge together. It's not. It's simple, ridiculously simple. It's far simpler than, say, rocket science, which is about astrophysics, chemistry, and engineering. None of that's in philosophy. It's three simple questions. Where am I? How do I know? What do I do? I wanted to go into more detail about philosophy, but I also wanted to tie it in with the subject of our speaker today, who's going to be talking to us about fraud, particularly affinity fraud. Very simply, fraud is lying. Legally speaking, it's lying with the intent to get something from someone else. Affinity fraud in particular is fraud perpetrated on groups of people, whereby the fraudster, the perpetrator, ties himself to a particular group as being one of their members to specifically defraud the members of that particular group. It happens all the time. It happens throughout the world. It happens throughout America. Specific examples include a military veteran in Chicago who was eventually able to take more than $800,000 from fellow veterans, by lying to them and asserting that he had investment opportunities that were going to make everybody who invested boatloads of money. I would like to pretend that because I'm a philosopher and because I fantasize that I'm a deep thinker, that I'm immune to fraud. I'm not. No one is. I used to think that at a very early age that, you know, if you get subjected to fraud, if you get conned, you deserve it. You're an idiot. Really smart people get defrauded. Really smart people, smarter than me. Case in point, there's a local gentleman who worked for the FBI for 22 years, specifically in white-collar crime. He was taken for $50,000 by his next-door neighbor in a scheme about getting some kind of new water cooler system. So he was no dummy, and he knew the deal, and he got hooked anyway. Does that make him an idiot? No. We want to be able to trust each other. And that's how the fraudster gets in. They may appeal to you directly, or in the case of affinity fraud, they'll go out of their way to appeal to the leadership of the group of which you are a member, and even provide profit for that leader. Once they have that leader speaking for them, they can go about booking people out of their life savings. and they do it all the time. How does that tie into philosophy? One of the key questions of philosophy is, how do I know? Philosophers like to use a very multisyllabic term called epistemology, the study of knowing. What does it mean to know? How do we know when someone is lying to us? How do we know what is true? How do we know how to protect ourselves? That's all within the realm of epistemology. That question that philosophy asks, how do I know? There are a number of ways that we can protect ourselves from fraud, from people who lie to us, people who are trying to take us for a ride, to take our money. There are some things that you can look for. And in particular, I use my philosophical background to protect myself from fraud. This does not make me an overly skeptical person. This does not mean that I don't trust anybody. It just means that I watch out for logical errors, for emotional fallacies and other kinds of fallacies that crop up in normal conversation with people. Let me look at my notes. When we see the world from a tribal perspective, when we look at the world through the eyes of us being the in-group and everyone else being out, one of the things that we tend to do is we tend to give a level of blanket trust to the fellow members of our in-group. Whether it's a religion like Mormonism or Baptist or Lutheran, or whether it's a group of elderly folks or any kind of organization you can name, like as I mentioned before, the military. You want to give your trust more freely and easily to those that are part of your in-group, that are part of your tribe. And that's one of the ways in which we become vulnerable. I know I could probably be screwed over really bad by a fellow philosopher if I didn't watch my P's and Q's, because I want to trust the philosopher. I'd like to think that they're all really good guys and gals. But fraudulent people are not good people. They're not. And not everybody is good. If we have a reasonable understanding of logic, and many of the fallacies that crop up in logic, we can notice where the person who's trying to con us is trying to break through, particularly at an emotional level, to get us to do whatever it is that they want us to do, whether it be to give them cash money because they need to pay some quick bill, or to invest in some crazy idea that they assert is going to make us boatloads of cash in the next 6 months. If we have an established sense of right and wrong, good and evil, we are properly armed against and can judge the actions of others and can involve the legal community in protecting ourselves and others from, one, the fraudster, and two, other potential victims that will come down the line. People who commit fraud, they don't do it once and then make their money and retire. They continue to try and defraud folks their entire lives. I am extremely confident that if and when Bernie Madoff ever gets out of jail, he's going to go right back to defrauding elderly people and Jews, just like he was doing before he was caught. Beware of testimonials. Beware of someone who you do trust enthusiastically supporting some get rich quick scheme. And I'm not saying don't trust your friend, but beware that your friend may have been defrauded, and maybe you should think about protecting your friend. Always get a legal prospectus. That's a form or a group of forms that are required by law for any investment. If there's nothing written, it's a fraud. You can rest assured, if there's no writing and the person who's offering you and promising you the world is not willing to put it in writing, it's fraud. You can always get a second opinion from an attorney or an accountant or someone else who's knowledgeable about the things that you want to involve yourself with. Get that second opinion. You can always contact whatever state you're in, particularly in Utah, the State Securities Commission, And you can also contact the Better Business Bureau. Some red flags. Investments, any investments that are tied to one specific religion or race or ethnicity are almost always fraud. Any kind of honest investor is going to want everybody's money, not just the money from one particular group. Investments tied by names or to popular figures are almost always fraud. You should buy these underwear because Michael Jordan wears them. That's a fallacy. That's an emotional fallacy. It's an appeal to one particular person who happens to have fame. That is not at all any way to determine whether something is good or not. A new member to your particular group, someone who you've never met before, who immediately starts talking about investments, that's a big red flag. I think that skepticism and caution should always be hallmarks for the choices that you make, especially when you invest. Any claim that an investment is not regulated is fraud. All investments, all buying or selling on the stock market or any kind of commodities market is always regulated, and that's a good thing. That's to protect people from fraud where possible. You can report suspected swindlers to the FBI or to your local law enforcement agency. Keep in mind that a couple things that I want to mention, specifically about Utah. In 2010, Utah was #1 in reported instances of specifically affinity fraud, amounting to about $1.4 billion lost by people in Utah. That's about $500 for each and every one of us that was taken by fraudsters. It's a particular problem in Utah because 60% of the population is Mormon and or LDS, and these fraudsters particularly appeal to their fellow Mormons or LDS, or they pretend to be Mormons or in order to defraud them. They'll usually go after bishops or other church officials first, make it look good, and then use those bishops to swindle everybody in the neighborhoods. Unfortunately, what too many people don't realize is that the Mormon Church was founded by a fraud, a known convicted fraud by the name of Joseph Smith. He was convicted multiple times in the state of New York before he fled. And finally, not just the Mormon Church, but Christian organizations in general, while they decry fraud and while they condemn it, they often do not act on it legally because they feel that very simply, well, you'll get yours in the end, or you're going to burn in hell for it. So these fraudsters keep doing what they do, particularly to vulnerable religious groups. Okay, let me finish up here. Spectacular returns or such, I think I said this before, is a big red flag. Promise that you're going to double your money in 6 months, it's fraud. If it's not in writing, it's fraud. If you're being rushed, give me your money now, or we can do it only now, you've got to do it this week, come on, let's go. It's fraud. These con artists are more and more frequently using the internet to spam people with emails to invest in this, that, or the other. What you can very simply do is forward that email with a note to enforcement at sec.gov. SEC is the Securities and Exchange Commission of the United States. And that's it.